Well, how's it going today there, YouTube? Well, I thought maybe I'd try a little bit different style video today. Wanted to kind of show you guys basic tools you might need if you're going to start wrenching on your own stuff. Or if you're just starting out fix stuff, whether it's a car, truck, tractor, it doesn't matter. Most of the tools are all the same anyway, except maybe some of the tractor stuff would be a lot more like half-inch and bigger bars and whatnot to pry on shit. But, you know, some of you guys may or may not know, I used to be a apprentice automotive mechanic, so of course that's how I have all the tools and stuff. I just wanted to show the basic hand tools. I'm not going to get into like shop equipment, jacks and compressors and welders and that kind of stuff, but for some of you kids out there that's starting to wrench on stuff, and I'll show you guys kind of what you guys should look into getting. And of course I know money's tight, as of course I'm paying mortgages and trucks and this and that too, so I mean I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on tools and shit, so it's kind of I guess a basic guideline you guys might want to go by. So one of the very first things you're going to want to buy before you start fixing any of your own stuff is a good socket set. And when I mean a good socket set, you don't have to go out and buy Snap-on and Mac and Matco and spend a whole crazy pile of money just to work on something in your driveway. My first socket set was a Mastercraft set, and I still have little bits and pieces of it here and there. Actually, I have most of the pieces. But, of course, I was working in a shop and used the stuff every day. And I had the privilege of the tool truck coming by, and of course, to an auto mechanic or an aspiring auto mechanic, a Snap-on truck is just like the crack dealer's truck when he comes by, so a lot of money gets spent on there very quick. So what you're going to want to do is get yourself a socket set, like a Craftsman, a Mastercraft, Husky, DeWalt. I know Stanley has a nice set, but I think the Stanley set and the Mastercraft set's in the same brand. Just the Stanley stuff is powder coated black or whatever. But a good socket set will have 3/8 sockets, 1/4-inch drive sockets, extensions, and it'll also have these driver bits. That hex bit's a Snap-on. I needed to do some escape brakes. They don't usually come with Torx, that's why I bought these Snap-on ones. And they usually come with 1/4-inch and 3/8 ratchet. This is just using this for an example. This one is just a Snap-on. When I saw the Mastercraft one, I just grabbed this one just to use for an example. The kits don't usually come with the swivel head ratchet. It's nice, but it's not something you really need. I mean, this is Snap-on, of course, but just use it for an example. And you don't really need it, but you know, it was handy to have in the shop because I was using, like I said, this stuff every day. So just want to stick with your Mastercraft, your Craftsman, Husky, DeWalt, Stanley. Even Princess Auto has relatively decent stuff. So for the guy that's just working in his driveway, say you're doing your brakes on the weekend or in your garage on the weekend or whatever, any of these sets would perfectly fine. It's more than enough. And the next thing you're gonna want to get is a good set of wrenches. I cannot tell you how many times you reach for a wrench. If you don't have a complete set, the one you're gonna need is the one you don't have. So you're gonna want to get a set that goes from 8mm right to 24. And most of the times you can get them on sale. It helps to get the little bit longer wrenches because you can get better torque, of course. But, you know, here's a little story. I bought this, well, I actually got this Mastercraft set for Christmas, but it did not have a 21mm wrench. Of course, you can see what that says. I bought the 21mm wrench because I needed to do some front end work. I think I was working on an F-150 or something. I needed a 21mm wrench, and then I bought out the Snap-on truck, but that one wrench cost more than that entire friggin' set. But now here's another question. These are just metric wrenches. Should you buy metric wrenches or should you buy standard wrenches? Well, my answer to that, buy the metric stuff first, because every vehicle made in about the last 30 years has been metric. So you'll use the metric, but it's good to have the Imperial set too, because you never know when you might need it. But I would say buy a metric set first. Now, these are ratcheting wrenches. So these are nice to have if you're in a tight spot and you can ratchet back and forth. These are a lifesaver. So if you had the money to get yourself the ratcheting wrenches instead of the combination wrenches, go for ratcheting wrenches. But these do not like to get torqued on. So sometimes you have to use one of these wrenches to crack a bolt loose. Then you can zip it off with this or your ratchet or whatever you want. So hopefully that answers a few questions on wrenches. Real lifesaver is a breaker bar. Unfortunately, these are usually 1/2-inch drive, which requires a 1/2-inch drive socket, which doesn't come with most socket sets, so you'll have to buy that separately, and those are actually very expensive, but they do make a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, so you can use your 3/8 socket with one of these. But the problem is, when you really get torquing on one of these, you'll break that 3/8 socket right off in most cases. But if you had the money to spend on a 1/2 inch drive socket set, pick it up. Next thing you're gonna want to get is a good screwdriver set. So you want to get yourself a set. This is my Mastercrafts. I have several more in my toolbox. Just wanted to put a little example out. You want to get yourself a set that's got Phillips, so star screwdrivers, flat screwdrivers. You're gonna want to make sure that set has the smaller Phillips, the bigger Phillips, and of course same with the flatheads. My set came with the stubbies, but you don't necessarily need them. They're nice to have though if you need to get into a small spot. Try to get the stuff on sale too, guys. That's if you're just gonna buy it, and so that way you have it if you need it. Find it when it's on sale. A lot of the stuff goes on sale around the holidays kind of time, so you can get a really good deal on some stuff then. You're also gonna want to get yourself a good set of pliers. Now you can sometimes get them in a set. I know if you're buying vice grips, I'll cover that in the next segment. You can get them in a set. But some of this stuff you can get all together on when it's on sale, or sometimes you got to buy them separately if you only need certain ones. I know I've kind of pieced mine together. But what you're definitely going to need is a good set of side cutters. These bent nose pliers come in really handy sometimes. I got these at Princess Auto. You don't necessarily need them a lot, but they're not too expensive when you go to buy them. This is an oil filter wrench, so that helps to get oil filters off if you're kind of in a tight corner somewhere. You get yourself a good pair of channel locks, because you'll use these a lot. Not to hack and butcher stuff, but sometimes if you need to grab a hold of something or you need to push something back in its place, those are nice to have. So just a few more little basic things. Hacksaw comes in handy. This is part of a vice grip set. These are snap ring pliers. So there's a round ring, and sometimes mostly on suspension parts, you kind of take this, got to spread it and pull it off. If you're not working in a shop, you really don't need these too much, but I got a set of them off Snap-on years ago. I think they're like $100 for like 6 sets or something like that, but I was using them all the time, so I bought them. A good big pry bar you're going to need. And this is a torque wrench, of course. If you're taking wheels on and off, this is great to have for putting them back on, but you're not going to use this all the time, so if you're really just getting started, you don't need that right away. And a couple more things. A couple of big hammers, because you're going to have to beat some stuff off sooner or later. And of course, once you buy all your tools, you're going to need a toolbox to keep them in, so I started with something like this. This is one of my grandpa's toolboxes. You'd be surprised how much stuff you can actually fit in one of these little boxes. I use that if I go to someone's house and fix their junk for them. So this one is this actually used to be my grandfather's. He used to use this when he worked at the Havilands. This has got the tools in it when I go down to the farm to work on the old tractor and stuff. So it's just a mobile box. So yeah, anyway. But you guys don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on a big toolbox like this one, so if you don't have a lot of stuff, one of those little boxes works just fine. But of course I was working in a shop, so I got both these pieces on sale too. I think it was like $500 for the both of them. But anyway, I think the best tip I can give you guys is when you're buying tools and stuff, you don't really need them, you're just getting started out, just buy the stuff on sale. You know, that way you can slowly build your collection, this and that. And you don't have to go out and spend all that money on Snap-on and Mac and Matco. Like I said, I used to work in a shop, so I spent the money and bought the good stuff, and now I got a little addiction to it. So, I don't know. Me, on the other hand, I've got so much stuff in that red toolbox there, I think I'm looking for a bigger box. But I mean, it's a life aspiration, I guess, to get myself a Snap-on toolbox one of these days. So, anyway. I'm not becoming an automotive channel, guys. I just figured, you know, I still fix shit inside and use tools and whatnot, and thought I'd do a little video for you. But if you like the video, please comment, rate, and subscribe.